Awesome. And I hope the connection stays. I actually didn't even think to go outside with this. So if the connection is not good, let me wipe this down. What we're talking about is mudra during pranayama. Pranayama during yoga practice. And these are the three preliminary stages of yoga that attain samadhi. Samadhi is the final stage of yoga. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is one of the most authoritative texts in yoga, the other one being the Yoga Sutra, the four stages of Hatha Yoga is asana, postures, pranayama, breathing, mudra, energetic gestures, and samadhi, absorption in, that's the point. The point is to get to samadhi. That's the stepping method. There are some people that don't follow steps, that their method is no method. They have the method of no method, which is a method. It's just the method of I don't believe in methods. I believe in methods because I have met people that impressed me with their achievement, their level of self-mastery, of communication, of mindfulness, so on. Qualities that I admire in myself and that I, therefore admire in others. So this is kind of a promo video, but also a little bit of an explanation. The promo is for an event I'm giving this Sunday at New Age Yoga on the east side, or the west side of Houston. So if you're in the Houston area within an hour or two, I highly recommend come. It's 12:30 to 2:30 on Sunday at New Age Yoga. I'll put the details in the description. I think it's like $40, which is undervalued. It's going to be incredible. And this is different from the Ujjayi. So I'm giving a Ujjayi pranayama event tomorrow, Saturday, in the Woodlands, which is about an hour apart. So if you're in the Houston area, come and grab two excellent pranayama events. They're very different. So I've already made a video for the Ujjayi, so I'm going to talk about the pranayama during postures. Pranayama, to regulate mind. Pranayama, regulate mind, or regulate breath. Breath and mind are the same. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it talks about the samadhi is attained when the fluctuations of the breath stop. And in the Yoga Sutras, it says samadhi is attained when the fluctuations of the mind stop. And so mind, breath, stop. They are two sides of the same coin. So we're regulating mind, we're regulating prana, the inner airways, through pranayama. But if you only do pranayama, if you only do breathing, then it might create agitations in the body, and you need to understand that the body is one. It's not just a respiratory system, that you have a nervous system and an elimination system and an endocrine system. And there is relationships and interactions between how you breathe and what kind of hormones you're releasing and what kind of nervous systems you're accessing, the enteric, the visceral, the autonomic, the sympathetic. These are different names for functions of the nervous system. In essence, when you hypoventilate, you breathe less than you need, you're triggering autonomic nervous system, rest and digest. When you breathe more than you need, hyperventilation, then you trigger sympathetic nervous system, fight and flight. And there's muscle groups that go with these, and not one is necessarily better than the other. And what you think of as hyperventilation doesn't need to be, a human of normal size needs only about 4.5 liters of sea level air a minute. And so if you breathe more than that, that's hyperventilating. If you breathe 4.6, and that will steadily alkalize the body, raises the pH, which makes your nerves very sensitive. So I'm going to go way deeper into this during the event at New Age Yoga, and how to apply it, how to start to sense, am I getting hungry, or am I getting sensitive, or am I getting a headache during my yoga practice? That is a clue to your breathing. Your breathing very rapidly can change the chemistry of your body. It doesn't stay, but it can make a rapid change. The longer pH changes happen with diet. But those are the two ways to change your pH, is how you breathe, what you breathe also, and how and what you eat. How you eat is very important. I'll bring that subject to light in future videos. This is about breathing. And then when we talk about pranayama and asana, we must talk about mudra. Mudra is a gesture. It's a gesture made with confidence and faith, as David Garrigues, my teacher, says, that what separates just a movement from a gesture is the energy behind it, the intention. And so we apply it when we talk about pranayama. There's a subcategory of mudra called bandha, which my yogis out there, you've probably heard of bandha. So I'm throwing a lot of Sanskrit words out there. Yoga itself is a Sanskrit word. And the bandha is a physiologically this co-activation of muscles around a joint space. The most common one is mula bandha at the pelvic floor. You squeeze your pelvic floor. You're probably doing too much. It doesn't need to be so intense. It's just a little bit of toning. And that does phenomenal things energetically to the spine. There's a reflex, like it affects your hyoid bone because they are reflections of each other literally in the spine. And that does phenomenal things for breathing because this throat is used for breathing. You can see there's so many connections. I'm so excited to share this event. But another thing that a bandha does is it pushes blood and lymph fluid and other things, oxygen, away from the area of contraction, just as any muscle contraction does. But when you do around like a key joint, like the sacroiliac joint or the throat, it does what's called the tourniquet effect, which I think I've done a video on the tourniquet effect. Comment below if you haven't heard of the tourniquet effect. I'll briefly describe. You push blood and fluid away, and then when you release the pressure, the blood and fluid returns, and with fresh oxygen because areas of the body. And so when we talk about bandha, pranayama, and mudra, these are all interrelated. They all co-occur, and they all have a posture associated with it, which is asana. When you do these mindfully, with nonviolence towards your body, patience, fervence, then samadhi naturally comes. And this is a bliss, an absorption in the process, an awakening of the senses, the inner senses, and an attentiveness, an identification with the self within. And there's a supreme contentment that is valuable. When you experience it, it is valuable. And we're not just here to experience that, but that is without experience of self, all else is just kind of mundane and an illusion. And it's just sense pleasures that will eventually leave us as we age. So knowledge of self is important, called vidya. And if you want to know more about the Sanskrit, the methods, the mindset, then I would recommend highly the Silent Flute program. I'll put that link below too. That's my online training program. 5 videos a week plus a 6th video, which is a lecture and a weekly call with me. And it's only $97 a month. Other than that, then I highly recommend you come and check out the New Age Yoga event. I think it's called Postures and Pranayama if you're in the Houston area. And we can go so much more into it. I mean, how you can access the upper lungs, the tissues of the upper lungs will affect mind. That those tissues are not normally accessed. There's a lot of tension around the shoulder girdle, and we can kind of help push the air into that region of the lungs by using bandha and mudra. And I'll show you how at this event. So I hope to see you there. Otherwise, please subscribe and like the video, share it. I'll catch you next time. Blessings.